Hi, y'all. This is Margot. And before we get started with tonight's show, I want to tell you about a few opportunities available. It's New Orleans is looking to hire an energetic, passionate person to join our team with advertising sales experience. If you're that person, please email me at margo@itsneworleans.com and I'll hand along your information. Also, if you're interested in owning a part of the Algiers Ferry, check out Buy the Algiers Ferry on Indiegogo or go to our It's New Orleans Facebook page for updates on the status of the efforts. Help us with this crazy yet brilliant idea to keep the ferry going. Lastly, if you listen to us on Stitcher or iTunes, please take a moment to rate us. Thanks, and we really appreciate your support and time listening to our show. Hi, y'all. I'm Margot Moss, and welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One, the New Orleans food and lifestyle show on itsneworleans.com. Once a week, Ray Kanata and I have the privilege of exploring the lives and adventures of those fascinating locals on the ever-vibrant New Orleans culinary and dining scene. Tonight's show, you'll be dining off the menu as my co-host Ray is out promoting his new film, Man of Steel. Oops, I just revealed his secret identity. But fortunately tonight, we have his fellow Justice Leaguer, Dean Ellis. He's here promoting his co-hosting of this show with me, Margot Moss. And dining off the regular menu means, as well, we're going on to the special one. And I couldn't think of anything more special than tonight's guest. We are honored to have the creative, passionate, multi-talented Kit Wohl. Kit is an artist, business owner, sculptor, graphic designer, and author of 8 cookbooks. 10. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. 10.
She wrote 2 while you were talking.
And the most recent one, now correct me if I'm wrong, is the James Beard Foundation's Best of the Best, 25 most...
It's their 25th anniversary book, and each year they name a chef of the year. And so we went back to the beginning and did a profile and recipes and photographs, and my husband hated the whole thing. He had to eat and be nice to people for 2 years.
Oh, wow. 2 years. That sounds terrible, to eat incredible food for 2 years.
Yeah, it was awful. It was torture.
Right now he's drinking a root beer float. How about that? He seems happy.
He knows the good things. But he enjoyed it thoroughly. I was working, and they kept bringing food to him, which really wasn't very fair. But interestingly enough, in the 25 years since the Beard Foundation started giving that award, and every year they give regional awards for chefs and pastry chefs and restaurateurs. It's probably the industry's most important organization. But of the 25 years, only one chef had died.
Oh, wow.
Julia?
No. Jean-Louis Paladin in Washington. He had passed away many years ago. But everybody else was alive and fun to interview and eat with and enjoy what they do. Each one of them was selected because they set a benchmark or a new path in the culinary world.
Where would you conduct the interviews?
There.
Oh, there.
There.
Okay. Yeah.
Miss a trip to Napa? Miss a trip to New York? I don't think so. I don't think so. But after that book, and I think it's in its 3rd printing now, I did 2 other ones. I'm asking. We did the New Orleans classic brunches. I think I brought one for you.
Oh, wonderful. New
And
Orleans classic brunches.
New Orleans classic cocktails.
Are those, I also I've seen your books. You have New Orleans classic desserts.
Yes, I started a classic series. So this, I just put number 7 to bed. It's being printed now.
Now, can you explain to me what that means? Because I was going to ask you, I saw that there are a lot of printings, like one of your books that came out in, I think it was 2008. I don't, the New Orleans Classic New Orleans Classic Desserts had several printings.
Yeah, they all do.
What does that mean? You update them, or?
No, it means, well, yes, one can. You're able to do that when it's reprinted, but it means the publisher has sold out of their stock and then ordered another print run, printing and binding.
Well, this had a huge number of, I noticed on several of the books.
Yes.
I did not know that. I didn't
Well, what happens with these is they're small books. They're easy to pick up and use, and they're great little gifts. They're great to take home to a dinner party, to a shower, to your wife, to your husband. Hopefully to your husband so he can learn how to cook.
Has it helped your husband?
No. But he does help a lot. He helps with it. He's learned grocery shopping.
And Pelican picked this up from the first one, right? Pelican Press.
Yes, I had done the Arnaud's Restaurant Cookbook, and then Pelican, and I made an agreement with that and the restaurant, Arnaud's, and I went in to see Dr. Calhoun, the publisher, after we had successfully concluded that, and suggested we do a series of small books, and this is it. These would be the small books.
And I'm looking at the beautiful photography, which I understand you're the photographer. Am I right?
Yes, it was of necessity.
well, you.
Did you know you had an aptitude for it? Because the photography is really stands out.
These drinks. I'm looking at the French 75, the Tequila Sunset, the Mardi Gras Punch, the sidecar. I'm a bartender, and I have yet to make a sidecar that looks that good.
Oh, good. Okay.
I can taste it from here.
Oh, good. That's the point. It should make you thirsty.
That's right.
Or want one. No, because I owned an ad agency for a number of years, and we still do. I worked with a number of photographers as the creative director, and so I knew the ropes. I just hadn't stood behind the camera. I was better at pointing, saying, "Do that." You know?
Well, you must have you have an eye. I mean, do you think somebody could just, that's kind of like looking through the camera. I mean, if you're able to see a certain composition, or you must have had an
reason, a mood. I do. I have an eye, obviously, because of my background in art and graphics. But I've had several assistants. All of my assistants are Tulane students who work for me part-time. And they all learn to be camera assistants, meaning they get to move the stuff around. It's a really glamorous job. Sounds good when they call home. But they test cook, and they help me with the gear, and learn how to use a knife and things like that. But some of the kids have a terrific sense of photography and understand it immediately and get right into it. And then it takes others a little bit longer. But it depends on your background and how your eyes have been trained.
Do you enjoy, it's kind of mentoring to have students work for you. Do you enjoy that aspect of it?
I love it. They're great because they do everything from clean the pool to run the computers. Happily. They get food and they get money. I mean, what's better?
Yeah, we're getting a free burger out of this, right, Margot?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have a Frosty here, I think.
Kid, speaking about getting food, can you tell us, going back to the James Beard experience, one of the more interesting stories that happened during these 25 interviews or 24 interviews, which chef was the most surprising or most interesting as a interviewee?
Well, I have to say, in all honesty, they were all riveting, and each different. The men and the women, each were marching to their own drummer. Believe me.
Yeah, well, they're all dynamic.
You don't get there without that. But I'd say the one I just fell in love with, Billy was with me, so that's a figure of speech. Was
He's
Thomas.
listening very carefully.
I know he is. He's a cautious man. Would be Thomas Keller at the French Laundry in California.
And did you know him before?
We
had you met him before the book, or?
Yes, but it was. He had a restaurant around the corner from a friend of ours in Greenwich Village before he started the French Laundry. So we knew him from there, but not well. He was just the chef. We'd go in and eat and split. And then we found ourselves flying to Napa Valley to have dinner again when he opened his restaurant there. So that was a wonderful event, great occasion to have seen him do this so successfully. And the food was phenomenal. It was one of those magical evenings. So when we went back to actually sit down and interview him, it was a real thrill for me because I really looked up to him. And he is such a gracious gentleman. Not only is he phenomenally creative and thoughtful about what he does, but he's genuinely a kind, nice guy. So he took the entire day, and we went next door where his test kitchen is in a little bungalow, and he kicked off his clogs and I took off my shoes, and we scooted around in our sock feet, cooked and took photographs.
Amongst all these chefs, was there a common thread that you noticed amongst? They're all dynamic people. They're all brilliant talents.
I'd say the one common thread is they're all stubborn.
Is that another word for driven?
Yes.
Could it be a...
No, they don't take any flack. If they ask you to do something, you will do it, and you will do it the way you've been asked to do it, their way. Or you'll be doing it again and again and again until you get it right. Or sadly, not at all.
They know what they want.
They know exactly what they want.
Well, they're true artists, What I was going to ask you about, as physical and biological beings, we know why food is important, and as intellectual and spiritual beings, we know why art is important. And you being, I understand you're a sculptor and an artist as well. How do you, I think you've said that food is like art, or cooking is like art, and each food stuff is as unique as sculpture. I was wondering how food affects your art and vice versa.
It's all shape and form and color and light and dark and movement, composition, surprises.
Yeah.
What engages you.
Except you can't chew on your sculptures, right?
I have.
You have? That's an interesting, I'm going to tell my sculptor friend, that's an interesting technique. Yeah.
It depends on your mood. But
unless you're making it out of chocolate, I guess, yeah.
That's very good. I'm not a good chocolate maker, though. I'd rather eat chocolate.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you, too. Do you prefer dining out and eating over cooking or creating? I mean, anything creative. I guess that's not really a clear question, but
where do I get my hoots?
Yes.
You like eating your own food or other people's? I think this is what she meant, huh?
Actually, it depends on the circumstances and the why of it. I get a huge kick out of going to restaurants, to friends' restaurants, and being with them and seeing what they're doing and what the chefs are playing with. I mean, that's wonderful fun. And a lot of chefs are friends, and so we thoroughly enjoy that. But we enjoy cooking at home a lot. In fact, a friend from Seattle was in town this week, and last night he was staying with us, and another friend of his. They came over and we cooked 3 or 4 things because they'd never had Cajun or Creole food. So we didn't really have a meal as much as we kind of had a tasting of everything to go along with the wine.
Nice, that's nice.
And
yes.
martinis.
Do you often entertain yourself or at your own home? Big parties, big meals, or you like?
Not as much as I used to because of this work. It limits time.
Too bad. I was hoping you could invite me and Margot over there.
Well, you can come over and cook when we're test cooking.
Okay, all right.
But that's a double-edged sword. We do test cleaning too.
I'm in.
No, just getting back to test cooking, when you wrote your first cookbook, you had to cook all the recipes before you
We
put it
do.
in the book.
We do.
Is that something that is traditional for books, or is that your process? And
It's our process, because if you don't do that, well, that's the reason for the Tulane students. I want people who can't cook. I can cook. And for me to test a recipe is a bad thing, because I have little mental shortcuts, and I might say a little more of this or a little more of that. And I can give a student a recipe. Consider Barry, my student right now. And he could cook enough to feed himself, but that was about it. Grilled cheese sandwiches were his specialty. But he learned knife skills, and then he learned how to read a recipe and do the mise en place, which is putting everything prepared in front of you before you start combining and cooking, so you don't get halfway through a recipe and discover you're out of vanilla. So Barry learned all those steps, and then he actually started cooking the dish. And the double-edged sword on that one is the kids have to eat what they cook.
Well, that's the best way to learn, right?
Yeah, but the point is, if someone who's not a cook can follow the recipe successfully, and it
That's the big
tastes
test,
right,
yeah.
that's the test. And for our test, for testing us on the writing side, if they get stumped by a recipe, clearly it's not written clearly. Obviously, it's not written clearly. So we know to go back to the drawing board with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it works beautifully. I mean, I think visually, and the recipes and the stories you have in them, it makes it so appealing and accessible by so many types of people.
Thank
which
you.
is really inspiring,
And
Well, you
speaking,
appreciate it.
go ahead.
Grace Rose's grandmother has written a book.
Well-
also,
Who is Grace Rose?
Yes,
I don't
we would like
know.
to
Huh.
I
know
don't know
who Grace Rose
I
is.
know
No,
her
somebody just
grandmother
came-
really well.
Oh.
I know Grace Bauer, and Grace wrote Los Angeles Classic Desserts. She started the series in Los Angeles, and Grace Rose is her granddaughter.
Well,
Got to test a lot of
There's a young lady
recipes.
sitting right here at the
Who-
booth, and I think,
who
what's
is
your name?
that?
Grace Rose.
What a coincidence!
How did that happen? Where did you come from?
Over there?
Ah,
Well, we're so excited to have you on as a special guest, Grace Rose. We'd like to hear a little bit about who you are, and particularly why you are in New Orleans this week.
And also
back
where you
home.
got that great posture.
Oh, wait, thank you. I got it from my music teacher.
Oh, it's nice to know that they teach that is important in music classes.
Yeah, they say you have to keep your posture straight.
Is
or
it
else you
classical
won't be able
training?
to sing well. Well, yeah, it's what a lot of my singing and voice teachers do. They say you have to sit up straight in order to take your breath and to be able to let something out.
and that's what works on the radio.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing.
Very well, in fact.
Thank you.
So, will you tell us a little bit more about how y'all know each other? So, you are a Kit, you are a family
I'm a family friend. Her
of Grace.
grandmother is a good friend of mine, and I know the girls through that. But the most important part of this is what Grace Rose is wearing today. Tell her who
Is
designed
beautiful,
it, Grace
bright
Rose.
colors. and
Yes, I'm wearing a purple and blue Aztec dress that I designed.
you designed.
Yes, and it came to life.
Wow. Spectacular. We're going to have to take some pictures and put it up on the website. because-
Okay. I actually have a lot of my pictures on my website and on Facebook on my mom's.
What is your website name?
GR for CF, which means Grace Rose for cystic fibrosis.
Okay. And can you tell us more about that? Why are you why do you have a website promoting your
What's happening
Close.
Saturday night?
Well, Saturday actually is my 10th annual fundraiser because I turned 10 in November. So it's the 10th one I've had. I've been doing them since I was 1. And so every year I come to New Orleans over the summer. We always do one to raise money to help find a cure. So, and how cancer is really out there, we're trying to make CF really out there so that people actually know, because very little people have CF and more people have cancer, but not everybody knows, like, CF can be difficult as well.
So you're educating, part of your goal is to educate people about it and bring awareness.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Are you doing, what's the event Saturday night?
The event is my fundraiser.
Where is it?
It's at the Rice Mill Lofts, like on the very top.
The rooftop.
The rooftop.
That's Saturday, June 22nd at the Rice Mill Lofts,
Yes.
and that's down just across the tracks in the Bywater, right?
Yes, actually.
Right by the school, right?
Yeah, and there's a very nice view of the water.
Well,
and
that's
it's
the
from
reason.
5 to 8 p.m.
522 Montague Street in the Bywater this Saturday, June 22nd.
And
How would
we
I
will
buy
have,
a ticket?
we
How
What
do I
about
get
a
a
ticket?
ticket? How do we get
Yeah, how do we get tickets?
It's
Who would I call?
You would call my mom.
Okay.
Basically,
And how do we call your mom?
you would go to her phone number,
And that is
504-261-1000.
Say that again.
504-261-1000.
And you're going to be, it's a children's fashion show, right?
Yes.
And it features whose designs?
Mine.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
my designs will be on kids that I know and that my mom knows that will be modeling for me on. We have a little pink carpet, a little bit to be like kid kind of friendly, and so it'll be going down the front way of the rooftop. So there's like a little room that we'll be changing in, and then we'll like walk out the door onto the pink carpet.
How did you
so,
become a
yeah.
designer? I'm curious.
Well, I designed my first like dress when I was only like 2. It was like a little sunshine dress, a little rainbow one. And then I also designed a denim dress with roses on it for 65 roses.
Can you explain to me how do you tie a shoe? I'm still working on that myself.
Okay,
And
well-
I'm way more than 2.
Well, you take...
Just kidding.
Okay. Good, because I don't know how to explain it. My mom explained
It's
it to me.
hopeless, yeah.
So your designing incorporates, do you do a lot of, it's a drawing and what is
Yeah.
that? It's a creative process? and
Yes, like sometimes I watch TV shows and they have like fashion, or sometimes I watch my mom's like Basketball Wives. And
what?
You can see Mom
wait,
blushing
wait.
on the radio right now.
yep.
Now, let's step back a
You should.
second. Your
She's
mom,
blushing the same color as that pink carpet right
is
now.
there
Look at that.
anybody in your family that has inspired? Obviously, you were born with a creative
design. Yeah.
thumb, but tell us who has influenced your design aesthetic and
My
some of your...
mom and my grandmother, in a way.
Are they Aztecs? Your mom and your grandmother? You're wearing that beautiful Aztecian design. What inspired that?
My mom kind of gave me the idea of the form of the dress, and then I kind of got to choose some of the patterns. And you see a lot of people like on the beach wearing these types of dresses, like over their bathing suits or like at pools. And so I kind of got the idea to make one, but in my own way. So it's like not. It doesn't have string. It's just all fabric, and then you tie it. And it's just fun to like go into her room and go into like her studio room and like pick out and like see a whole wall of colorful fabrics to choose from.
So that wasn't on Basketball Wives then, huh?
No, it was on Real Life Beach.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, so reality shows can be an inspirational thing.
And one of my favorite shows actually is Shake It Up. That's where I get most of my ideas from.
What, from the kids on the show?
Yeah, because they wear a lot of like fun outfits, and that's where I kind of get a lot of ideas. And actually,
Do you go and draw? You sketch?
Yes.
And like a piece?
yeah, like on the bedside, there's always like a tablet with a pen, and I'll just like pick it up and start sketching my own ideas, where I get the ideas from. And so that's when I kind of start off. And actually on my way here on the plane, there was this little girl sitting next to me who was flying alone, and she actually gave me an idea for a dress that I have. And when we get back to California, I'm hoping to maybe make that come true. So it's a really cute dress.
How many models are going to be there
25.
Saturday night? 25?
Yes.
That is a huge collection.
Well, like 20. We have some extra kids that might be coming, but we're not positive.
Are we too old to be models?
In a way, yes. Don't want to be rude.
Or you
but
set
yes.
her up for that
the
one.
flyer says children.
But we're not too old to attend the event, right?
No, event is 0 and up.
We're talking about the fashion fundraiser this Saturday, June 22nd at the Rice Mill Lofts. That's at 522 Montague Street, right across from NOCA, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., benefiting cystic fibrosis. And I understand you have that disease.
Yes, well, it's not really like a bad disease that can spread. It's only if like your parents have it. Well, not your parents have it, but some kids' parents like might have like something like in their body that not every parent has, and then that's kind of how you get cystic fibrosis. So it's very rare.
I see.
But yeah, it's not like if I cough on you, you'll get super sick and have it. It's not that kind of sickness.
Not contagious, in other
No.
words. Yeah.
You get it from your parents, though.
Yes, but
It's sure contagious from your parents.
genetically passed. Yeah.
Genetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lung thing.
Yeah, basically, it's almost like having asthma. You have to do a lot of treatments, but it's where you have, sometimes you can have hard times breathing, and sometimes you could have hard times digesting food, so you would have to take pills to help, like, break down the food so it doesn't get stuck.
Are there certain foods you cannot eat or have to
No.
restrict? Oh,
I can
okay.
eat any food I want.
I saw that earlier. You were
yes.
chowing down on
I
that double
ordered
cheeseburger.
a big burger, yes. I can eat any food that I want, and I'm not really allergic to anything. So I'm only allergic to grass, and that's probably rare. I mean, not rare, but like, that's probably normal, but that's the only thing I'm allergic to.
And you're not allergic to being precocious either as a designer, that's for
No.
sure. Yeah.
But she won't cut your grass.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll find somebody else. And just one, and the treatment for it. Can you tell us about
yeah,
that?
the treatment's to help clear your lungs, because sometimes if you inhale like certain things like smoke, you know how that can be really bad. That's like really bad for us. And sometimes we have trouble breathing, so that's when we would have to do the treatments so that we can breathe. And you have to do it twice a day. And I take a bunch of pills to help me, and they all, like, every day, it's like about 20 to 30 pills in all. Because it helps to digest your food so that you don't get sick or a stomach ache.
Do you take the pills with food?
Yes,
you
you
do.
take them before you eat, and if you don't, you could get a bad stomach ache, but then you would just have to drink, there's like a medicine that you would take for it, another medicine actually, And once, like, at the end of the day, pretty much at, like, dinner time, it's like, finally, I have no more pills to take. So it's kind of like a break from it. And
That's when you eat the double cheeseburger?
Yes, actually, at night, that's when I eat the double cheeseburger.
So that's a treatment, and we're working towards a cure.
Yes.
And that cure we're have a fundraiser for this Saturday. You want to tell us again?
Let's tell everyone the email address.
Oh,
too.
yes, the email address.
If
The fundraiser is this Saturday, June 22nd. What time, Grace?
It is from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
and you can purchase tickets or donate.
Yes, the VIP tickets, the limit for VIP is $30, and those are $150. General is $100, and then child is $20.
Okay, and all the proceeds go to the
Cystic fibrosis. Everything that we've earned goes to that.
Oh, most importantly,
The
your
past
mom
10 years.
Your mom just mentioned it's an open bar. Now that's the
Oh,
most
yeah.
important thing for you New Orleanians. Yeah.
Yeah, parents love bars.
And great restaurant food as well. Several
And
yes.
Yes, for the kids,
what
there's
phone
like
number?
a little candy bar.
What's the
Actually,
phone
A
number?
candy bar?
Yes, a candy bar with some of my favorite candies.
Oh, a
and
bar with candy on it.
It's
Ah.
it's like a kids bar.
It's like that chocolate sculpture we were talking about
Excellent.
earlier. Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
There's an adults bar and a kids bar. So
Is there any cure for
Win-win.
your shyness? I'm curious about that.
Dean thinks he's funny. Don't worry. He was
Yeah,
making
yeah,
a
yeah.
joke. He's
Yeah.
saying you're not.
You
it's
know- you
great,
know a
you're
joke
not
I
bomb.
have
funny.
no clue what shyness
yeah.
means.
We can tell.
It kind of sounds like shininess, but I'm used to that word, but not shyness. Oh, now I see that I
Margot's co-host
now
next
I
week will
see
be
that I
great.
sounded it out.
Since
You're
not
saying
shy,
shyness. Okay, now I get it.
What phone number do I call to get a ticket?
And
Because
the email.
I'm definitely going to go.
The email is gr4cffundraiser@gmail.com, and the Facebook is facebook.com gr4cf. And then the phone number you would call to purchase tickets or give a donation is 504-261-1000.
Great. And the good thing about this show is it will be up for a long time. So if someone is not fortunate enough to be able to go to the event, they can still access your information and
Yeah.
donate money.
We
and,
have some people that aren't able to come.
or people
but
that listen
they-
out of town.
Yeah,
or,
they're not able to come, and there might be somewhere else. But they still donate, which is very nice for us
Yeah.
because we're doing a silent auction
Okay.
for some of for some money. Actually, we have a couple of friends that are artists, and they're gonna send in some paintings, and I think Kit is bringing in some books or a book for the silent auction.
Wonderful. So you have a lot of friends and supporting your event.
Yes.
And have been participating too in the past 10 years. So your family and you have been doing this for a long time.
Yes, since I was 1.
And this is the first. Is this the first event where you're featuring a whole collection of your work?
Well, yeah. Yes, actually it is.
And have you
So-
ever? You have some other creative outlets and interests, and have you ever participated in the event in that way too, to bring people in? Like, have you ever sang or performed?
Yes,
or-
actually, I've been performing. I've performed songs, I think, for 2 years. I think it's been 2 years, and this year I'm gonna sing, like either 2. But there is this one song that I'm not so sure about. But
Can you sing a little right now for us? Just a little bit. How about that?
okay. Well, here are your options. I only have 2 songs in mind. All That Jazz, which I've been kind of listening to since I'm in I Like It, which is from, well, it's like a summer song. So since it's summer, I kind of got that idea of like, yay,
That sounds
summer
great.
song.
Let's go with that.
Okay. I got this feeling on one summer day when you were gone. I crashed my car into a bridge. I watched, I let it burn. I threw your stuff into a bag and pushed it down the stairs. I crashed my car into a bridge. I don't care. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You're collecting more hyphens than Kit, I think. Wow.
Well, we need to get her a contract
Oh,
immediately.
yes, yes. Here, I have a pen right on me, right here. Yes. Could you please sign here, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Here.
You are giving her the $2 million signing bonus.
Yes, yes. I get 10%. Is that
There
all right?
you go. There you go. I signed a contract.
Now you were born in New Orleans.
I was born in New Orleans and then moved out to California after the storm, which was when I was 2. And we drove from New Orleans to California. It took about 5 days with a cat and a goldfish.
And do you still feel connected to New Orleans,
Very.
even though you live out in LA?
Yes. I'm more of a New Orleans girl, actually. I kind of want to move back here. My mom and I are thinking about maybe moving back here one year to go to school just to test it out.
Okay. And when you come back to New Orleans, what is something that is your favorite thing to do? And I want to know something that you really enjoy doing when living in LA.
Something that I enjoy in LA?
Sure. Yes.
Well, I enjoy that it doesn't rain that much. But like the weather's very nice. I do like the weather, and then I do like that my school is walking distance from like where I live, but I don't really walk. I drive from my house, but my grandma actually lives 6 blocks down, and sometimes
So you can walk to your grandmother's
Yes.
house as well.
yeah, I can drive to her house and then walk to school, which is a nice walk, even though it's like really cool in the morning. And I like my school, and I've been going since kindergarten. So we're going to finish 5th grade there, and then, because it only goes from kinder to 5th, and so then we don't know where to go.
Okay. And do you have a best friend in Los Angeles? Do you have somebody that you really...
Not like a best friend, but I do have a lot of friends. And here my
I'm
best
shocked.
Yes, here I have one big friend who I've known for a couple of years, like maybe 2. Not very long, but she is a really good friend of mine. Actually, she modeled on the news with me last summer for one of my collections. Yeah.
I think she sounds like an LA girl to me. I don't know.
Well, she lives here, but she's very nice. She goes to camp with me.
No, I meant you.
Oh, me. Well, yeah.
What is your friend's
I'm a pretty
name?
good best friend.
Oh, okay. What is your friend's name?
Her name is Ayla.
Ayla.
Yes.
What are your plans for any further designs in the future? Anything coming
You
up?
know, I kind of like just casual, so I might make some casual outfits that you could wear like anytime, like to school. Because right now I have a lot of clothes that are like dressy and like fancy that you could wear to like your birthday or like dinner parties, or like if you're doing a concert or something.
Or going to an event, a
Yeah,
fundraiser.
or going to an event.
Do you have a monogram
Yeah.
like Pierre Cardin or Stella McCartney or
It's Rosie G.
Rosie G? Okay. Ah,
Yes.
alter ego.
Yeah, because when I was like younger, I used to put on little lip gloss and chew gum, and my mom would say, "Oh, there's Rosie G." That would be like my little like girly.
Back when you were a kid.
Yes, and I'm still called Rosie G. Whenever I get like ready for my fundraisers, so that's what we thought my alter ego could be.
Kit, were you like this when you were her age?
I don't think so. I haven't had any reports, but I do understand that there's no time limit on having a happy childhood. So I'm hanging out here with Grace Rose.
I actually did see this one sign that said, don't grow up, you'll love your childhood. And it was like,
There you go.
it's
That's
kind
beautiful.
of motivational, but it's kind of like, that can't really happen. Even though, like, people must miss childhood, and once you, like, you might think it's, like, kind of boring to be a child, but then when you grow up, it's kind of like, now I miss it.
You should always keep keep that child inside, right? Yeah.
Keep
I'm still
the
a
child.
kid.
Yeah. You're talking to Peter Pan and 2 Wendy's over here,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Peter Pan. I don't want to grow up.
So y'all are both creative people, and Kit, do you still make time? I know you obviously have spent the past couple years, 2 years on the cookbook, but do you make time for other creative endeavors that you used to
Absolutely.
enjoy before?
Sure, certainly. I'm always
Like what?
interested in. I love the process. I love the how did that happen? What made that happen? How did they do that? So I'm always exploring another path.
Kid, you kind of consider yourself a writer still, don't you? In a lot of ways.
Yes and no.
Yeah. I mean, you appreciate the writing process, is what I mean.
I
by that.
enjoy the writing process. I enjoy the whole process of it. The imagining what the book will be, and what the recipes will be, and the people behind them, who they are, how the recipe came about, and then putting it together in a package that's cohesive.
Does it come out the way you think, or is it that process of discovery that
It's
is
always
exciting?
a process of discovery, and it comes out. We're in the throwing things out phase right now. We put down 1,000,001 things, and then we toss out different items for different reasons as we go until we get down to the number of dishes we'll actually work with. So right now we're kind of saying, don't like you anymore. You were a bad date.
Were there any that you thought would be right on and they didn't work out, and vice versa?
Oh,
the one-
sure,
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
ones
either-
that you just discovered and they turned out to be great, that you didn't think were going to make it.
A couple that were real surprises.
Like what? Can you?
Well, there's one in the upcoming cookbook, Boise Bollinger's Shrimp and Eggplant Supreme. And it took him 3 hours just to do the chopping. And I'm thinking, whoa. But
That's a long step in a process.
Yeah.
3 hours.
But it makes it makes a large amount. And when we had our guest last night, I had frozen small amounts of it, because you can't eat a huge pot off of it. And we pulled it out of the freezer and thawed it for one of our guests who was, interested in what it was, and they inhaled it. It's delicious. And it was unexpected that it'd be that terrific. But then some recipes get thrown out because they're way too long, or they have ingredients that aren't as easily available, as readily available as you'd like them to be. For example, down here, I would never use a fiddlehead fern in a recipe. We don't have them. Up north, easy.
So, has any chefs hidden a recipe, something from a recipe that maybe they were withholding an ingredient, or do you find they're mostly generous and open about?
Our chefs are so generous, and their theory of it is if you enjoyed it enough at the restaurant to try to replicate it at home, go for it. And understand, a recipe that's cooked in a restaurant is cooked by professionals using professional equipment in different quantities. There's a lot of differences than your home kitchen and your mood and your attitude when you're making the dish. A lot of love goes into every dish. So it's going to be different no matter what.
Kit, what would you cook for Grace right now for dinner?
Oh,
What do you want?
Ooh.
What do you want to?
some sounds good.
Shrimp?
Love it.
Shrimp and pasta
Oh, yeah.
with mushrooms.
Uh,
How about green onions?
Yep.
Okay.
That
All
sounds
right.
pretty good.
We'll help. We'll help cook.
And a little
That could be my
tasso.
Yep,
a little
that,
tasso.
That could be my dinner.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
thank you.
The time has flown by.
Very fast, actually.
It has been so wonderful having you both on the show.
Two incredibly creative women.
We'll come
Thank
back.
you. Yes.
We'll come back next
Come back.
week.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We'll be back next week.
Superman's coming back. I won't be here.
Whoa.
Ray.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm just Clark Kent.
Oh.
See, look, see? I got my glasses on.
Whoa.
Don't I look just like him?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I love that you lie.
Well,
Great.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much
It gets you
for
places.
coming on. And we will have a we'd like to put up a link to for people to be able to buy your cookbooks, the classic New Orleans cocktails.
It's kitwohl.com.
Okay.
That's kitwohl.com.
Very easy. A
And
no-brainer.
And once again, Grace Rose's, if you would like to donate or purchase tickets, it's gr4cf fundraiser at gmail.com, or you can go to facebook.com, gr4cf. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Margot. Great hanging out
Thanks
with
for
three
joining
dynamic
us,
women.
Dean.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I hope to do this again sometime.
Will you come back and let us know how much support you got, and we'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
ready for next year's event.
I will tell you how much money I raised, and
Excellent.
hopefully it'll bring us good news.
Great.
I'm heading for that double cheeseburger here at
I'm
Teddy's
gonna
Frost
I'm
House.
gonna finish mine.
Can I have yours?
No,
Okay.
it's too good. I got bacon on it.
Our special guests tonight have been Kit Wohl and Grace Rose Bauer. Midnight Menu is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll be back next week with our co-host. My co-host Ray Kanata will be joining us. I'm Margot Moss. Thanks. Good night.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potty mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii, U.S. only.